So usually going into this sort of thing, I know the general consensus about things, but to be honest, with this whole Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt situation, I'm not 100% whether people love it or hate it, so this is going to be an interesting one. Hello and welcome to FCTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy himself. But before we get into that, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment down below your thoughts on Uncle Howdy and let me know what you think, because let's dive into the madness of Bray Wyatt. So Bray Wyatt made his return at Extreme Rules of last year, one of the most hyped debuts with the White Rabbit Trail that has been in ages since we've seen a debut of that caliber, or a re-debut should I say. And from there we've been introduced to new characters, we've returned to the Funhouse, we've brought LA Knight into the picture, we've had Bray cutting promos in the ring, and we've had the introduction of Uncle Howdy, this seemingly new supernatural figure that is slightly terrorizing Bray, sort of on the same page as Bray, part of Bray's psyche. We're not too sure on the identity of Uncle Howdy as of yet, but what I'm going to dive into in this video is Uncle Howdy good? And by that I mean the storyline, and in essence, has Bray Wyatt's return been good? Now, right off the bat, okay, I am a huge Bray Wyatt fan. I have a Fiend action figure over there. I have a Fiend pop vinyl over there. I have 2 Fiend hoodies and 2 Fiend t-shirts. I was incredibly into the Fiend back when he was the Fiend. Sadness. Randy Orton killed the Fiend. And now we have to live with that. Goldberg killed the Fiend. It still baffles me how they managed to do that to Bray. And it makes me sad that the Fiend is no more. But moving on, Bray came back. I was super pumped. He had an incredible entrance at Extreme Rules, an incredible reintroduction. But then it stalled for me. For me personally, this Bray Wyatt story with LA Knight and Uncle Howdy isn't particularly good. And that breaks my heart to say. It absolutely breaks my heart, because I'm so into Bray. I'm so into his wow, I struggle to say that word. Self-referential ways of telling stories and creating characters and harking back to his own history in the ring. I love that so much, and it really pays off, you being a fan. But for me, something about Uncle Howdy just isn't clicking. I don't know if it's the long build, where I'm not into the Alexa Bliss stuff with it as well. I wasn't into Alexa Bliss with the Fiend to begin with. So bringing her in with Uncle Howdy in that regard, I'm not particularly into. And the main crux of this video that got me a little bit more on board is the hope of the Fiend coming back with the Firefly Funhouse from this week's episode of SmackDown, because that whole thing, the whole skit, really gave me like what, 2 years ago Bray Wyatt vibes. The Firefly Funhouse, cutting a spooky promo on someone in the ring. Love that. I love that, and I love all the characters in the Firefly Funhouse and the way it works. That is what I am attached to. But Uncle Howdy just isn't clicking for me. I don't know if it's... Like, I like the mask, even though the mask is a bit Point Break, if you know what I mean. And I like the vibe he's giving off, but it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of character behind Uncle Howdy. And I get we're peeling back the mystery, but I think it's been going on a little bit too long. I feel like we need a little bit more sort of tidbits on Uncle Howdy. And I think this entire thing depends and falls back on the pitch black match at Royal Rumble. If that match is a dud and it is spooky nonsense that the crowd are not into, you're going to have a real big issue on your hands. The first thing that annoys me about the pitch black match is that it's sponsored by Mountain Dew. Really? Is Uncle Howdy getting the Mountain Dew, sponsorship in there. It just seems a bit weird to have that sponsored by Mountain Dew. But anyway, regardless, that match has to work in order for this version of Bray to succeed. Because when you think about it, the first introduction to The Fiend that we properly got was his match with Finn Balor, and that is where, we fell in love with him. He was a slasher villain that you couldn't kill. He was tortured. He was arguing with himself in the ring. It was perfect. Absolutely perfect. If you can do a portrayal of that through Uncle Howdy, then you might be on to something, but you really got to convince audiences on Uncle Howdy, because to me, at least from here, from where I'm standing, he's a bit of a meme, a bit of a, what's the word, bit of a joke. Personally, I'm not, something about The Fiend felt ethereal and scary. Uncle Howdy doesn't feel like that. He doesn't have the same vibe as that. And maybe, when we peel back the curtain, see a little bit more of what's going on there, maybe that's where we can get into that sort of stuff. But it's just not clicking for me, Uncle Howdy. And I don't know where you go with him from here. Is he an ally of Bray? Is he a version of Bray? Is he in Bray's head? Clearly not, because he's infecting Alexa Bliss as well. Is he supernatural? Is he a cult leader? We don't know these things. Whereas I feel like with The Fiend, we had sort of strict guidelines and rules, like you should in any good horror movie, in understanding the villain. That's how I feel about that. So for me, Uncle Howdy is not particularly good. I said it. Come at me in the comments. But I want to know if this story is landing for you. Are you guys into Uncle Howdy? Are you into Bray Wyatt's run? What do you want to see from the Pitch Black match? Should I answer that? What do I want to see from the Pitch Black match? What I want to see from the Pitch Black match is something akin to a Lights Out match. Same concept. I don't know what you're going to add to this. I don't know if it will be cinematic. I don't think it will be cinematic. I don't think you want to bring back cinematic matches for an audience. I think that's so associated with the COVID pandemic era of professional wrestling that you don't want to do that. So I have a feeling this is going to be in ring, and I think it will just be an extension of a street fight with spooky shenanigans, essentially. And if it can deliver on the scares and the thrills and the spots, maybe it can turn us round on Uncle Howdy. But we'll see from there. And I have a feeling we're going to get The Fiend again. I think there's money on the table with The Fiend, and I think Triple H knows that. And I think this is a slow burn to, God help us, I don't know if this would be any good, a slow burn to The Fiend versus Uncle Howdy at Mania. I don't know if that'll be good, but wow, I'd kind of want to see it. That is my pitch. WrestleMania, I think The Fiend versus Uncle Howdy. There you go. You heard it here first. But like I said, let me know down in the comments below, what do you want to see from this feud, and are you enjoying it? Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.